Let's go ahead and go into the discussion and possible action for approval of bills, payroll, and monthly reports. We'll start with our treasurer like we usually do. Mr. Raul Reyes, how are you today, sir? How's your week?
Judge, very
How was your
good.
Thanksgiving week?
It was good. I hope all of y'all had a very blessed and thankful
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
it was nice.
It was very nice to be in company of family.
Mama
and
did good this week?
She is. She is. She's recovering quite well. Thank you
glad to
very
hear
much
that.
for asking.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
All right, sir, you may proceed.
Good morning, Honorable Judge and Commissioners. Raul Reyes, County Treasurer for the record. This morning, Judge and Commissioners, I have the presentation of bills and disbursements for the period of November 9th, 2023 through November 20th, 2023, and of course, my monthly report for the first month of the fiscal year, October 2023. In terms of the recap of checks and EFTs to be approved for release this morning, we have 341 invoices that will be paid with 193 checks. That total amount is $825,359 with 79 cents. We also have 115 electronic fund transfers ready to be processed for the payment of 336 invoices, Judge and Commissioners, and that disbursement total is $1,432,934 with 78 cents. Checks released as per general order prior to today's meeting. We did process 66 checks for the payment of 302 invoices. That disbursement total was $224,666 with 38 cents. And we did process 2 electronic fund transfers for the disbursement total of $222,964 with 20 cents. That was for 3 invoices paid. And of course, these are per general order as approved previously, and this is for energy assistant vouchers, materials and supplies, trainings, lease contracts, and utilities. I'm not sure if you have any questions regarding this first portion.
Any questions or comments? None had.
Approval is needed to be able to release these checks.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconds, any opposed? Motion carries, thank you.
Another approval that is needed, Judge and Commissioners, is the payment ratification. We did have some requests from departments. We processed 11 checks to pay 13 invoices. That disbursement was $7,761,000 with 73 cents. And then we also processed 3 electronic fund transfers for the payment of 3 invoices, and that was $73,250. You'll see there that the request by departments, the forfeiture, and of course, tax refunds, we had none. For the most part, in the next slide, you'll see the recap of those payment ratifications that were requested. The large portion of it was from the public health services, and that was the contribution from the local provider. That was 7.6 million. Not sure if you have any questions regarding this area.
How come like the state comptroller risk things are not under the first category
Because
by order? Because they're standardized things that we have to pay, no?
they are, and I don't think that when the bill was passed, that
Oh,
these
it came
reports
in after?
were included,
Okay.
yes.
Very well.
So that's why we're having to ratify. And our office does not only the judicial reporting for all the JPs, but also all the state comptrollers' reports as well. So technically, when you see these large portions being ratified, it's, primarily because of the state report, the quarterly reports that are due.
Okay,
Move to ratify these payments.
Second.
motion is second, any opposed? Motion carries.
And then for informational purposes only, Judge and Commissioners, the liability disbursement of county payroll for the period of November 3rd through November 16th, that disbursement total was $5,416,672 with 43 cents. And that represents the payment of 2,405 direct deposits. Keep in mind that we did have election workers on there, so that's why it increases substantially. The next item also requires some sort of approval in terms of the requirement of funds for the Casablanca Golf Course. The approved estimate last time was $40,000. The actual amount was $34,318 with 94 cents. And of course, the new estimated requirement of funds for the payment of December 1st will be once again approximately around $40,000.
Motion to approve not to exceed $40,000.
Second.
Motion second by Commissioner Gaylo. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then also for informational purposes only, I'll be getting with the auditor to see if this constant thing is needed in terms of, bringing the requirement of funds for the Casablanca Golf Course. I know that Commissioner Gaylo at one point expressed his interest in maybe seeing or inquiring why we keep on bringing it over. So I'll get with the auditor to see what we can do, and also with civil legal. The next item, Judge and Commissioners, is the October 2023 monthly report. This is the first month of our fiscal year. In terms of our cash and investment balances, the total portfolio was $251,549,058 with 95 cents. You'll see what's represented in cash and then also what's represented in our investment portfolio. Typically, we like to keep a 70-30, so we're well above the 70% in terms of our cash at hand. I know this is the first month, but we will be taking advantage of the tax pool rates that are above 5.5% at the current moment in certain pools. And you'll see here exactly why. Just in this month, last month alone, in the first month of October, investment income was $745,568 with 0 cents. And of course, you have the same amount because it's going to be a running total, and we just started the fiscal year. So you'll see the weighted averages here by financial institutions and who we do business with in terms of our investment. And our current Falcon Bank rate of return is at 3.5600%. The next slide, you'll see our investment portfolio summary. Keep in mind that we hold to maturity, so a lot of these will be maturing pretty soon. We normally reinvest what we have maturity. So I just wanted to give you all that information because I think it's important, right? We hold to maturity. Keep in mind that a lot of these investments that are maturing or instruments that are maturing now have been because they were acquired during the COVID times at higher rates than the 0.0% that we had in tax pools, and of course, almost roughly competing with the rate that we had locked in with our depository at the time as well. All right, our next
But
slide.
these ones are mandatory. So these are mandatory though, right?
Yes, absolutely. The next is the checks issued reports. You'll see there the accounts payable portion, the payroll and the payroll liabilities. That disbursement total for the month of October was $19,499,364 with 41 cents. A more detailed report is included in the actual monthly report that was submitted on was it Wednesday, right? I forget. Wednesday seemed like Friday, and Friday seemed like Saturday.
It did.
Right. In terms of
It
our
was
sales
technically
tax, in terms of our sales tax revenue, Judge and Commissioners, you'll see that for the month of October, we did receive $2,107,780 with 0 cents. Even though that represents a decrease from the previous fiscal year of 129,000, we are still above budget by 24,447. So we're off to a good start in with respects to the sales tax income that we are receiving. In terms of the bingo and mixed beverage tax revenue, You'll see there that for the period or the quarter reporting July through September, that total revenue amount that was received in October was $9,740.30. And of course, our mixed beverage for the month of October was $67,726.05. Now, in your actual report, you'll see which organizations are the ones contributing and submitting these reports. And it's unclear yet. I know it came out on social media that the Border Bingo will now be closing its doors after decades of service. So we won't know necessarily what that financial impact will be until we start getting the new reports. But we'll be reaching out to all the contributing institutions so that we can get more or less an idea in terms of, what their projected averages will be. In terms of our Webb County rents reports, the rents received were $7,530.24, and then we did pay out $16,873.04 in rents. And you'll see in the actual reports where we get the rents, and then of course how much was paid. Keep in mind that on some months you'll see a greater number in rents paid because some of those contracts are either yearly or quarterly, and in some cases monthly. In terms of our leases paid, we did pay $623,048.68, and this is our debt service leases. We do have 16 of those that are paid once yearly, and then 6 of them that are paid on a monthly base. In terms of our permanent school fund report, as of October 31st, 2023, we did receive $167,032.87 in terms of our royalties. You'll see the breakdown there from Highway 44 and Highway 59. No damages were reported or received. And of course, the hunting and grazing, we had no payments whatsoever. One payment will be due in June 24th of next year, and the other one will be paid. I'm sorry, it should be 24 instead of 29, but the actual printed report has it. And then in terms of our current balance, our available balance ending last month, we have $3,938,665.38. Last but not least, our Tex-Mex parking lot in October, we had 363 tickets closed. 124 of them were below the half hour. So therefore, we had 238 paid tickets, and that revenue was $1,364. And of course, if you add our contract agreement, that's another additional $500. And then we only had $2 in terms of coupon vouchers for the month of October. So we had very minimal, if not, less than expected activity in the month of October for our Tex-Mex.
Let me ask, is Mr. Lopez here? Because I drove by the other day, and again, there's no, the exit signs, there's no markings on the ground, and I know we spoke about it, so I just wondered where we were at.
We are actually working on that with building maintenance. I know it's taking a while, Commissioner, and I most certainly agree. This is something that hopefully by the end of this week we'll have already sent out to purchase the advertisement things that are needed. And then, of course, we've been also working in terms of security with the parking box and, of course, with the sheriff's office as well and IT to install video
So we're
surveillance.
going to have signage that says
So
open to
yes, we
public-
are going to have signage pretty
Public
soon.
parking? Okay.
Yes.
Because we need that bad.
And then we're also asking our tax assessor collector to inform the public that there is, a parking lot there as well.
Okay. Very good.
Judge and Commissioners, that's all I have this morning. I'm not sure if you have any questions.
So moved to accept report.
Second.
Second.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Well, I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a great rest of your morning. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you so much. Next, we have.